is open for three. Count it.
Out to Pott, 3 ball, yes sir!
Driving the lane, beat it to Porter for an open layup.
Potts now saves it inbounds. It'll be to Copeland, to Upshaw, layup good!
Skip past Loder Reuter, off the glass, she'll score.
Upshaw, lob to Buford!
3-2, a shot, and it is good!
What about you, Raiders?
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Paint this morning. I'm joined alongside head coach Rick Insell. Coach, how you doing this morning?
Doing great.
Doing good?
Great.
Good. Let's start right in. Last week, you guys started off with North Texas. It was 32-23 at half, and then you guys go on to win 76-52. I want to touch on your post, because last week when we sat down and talked, you said you have about 2 offensive posts and then about 1.5 with Tiana being able to do stuff offense and defense. Your posts combined for 31 points. Can you talk about how all 4 of your posts were able to contribute on the offensive side?
Well, really, we're playing 4 posts. You know, we've got different roles for our post players, but you know, if you look at it, our 5s would be Alex and then Becca Reuter, and they're more offensive. We use them more for the offensive end, but that does not mean that we can't use Gabby and Tiana also. But Tiana and Gabby are more or less in the 4 position, which is our rebounding position, and they do a good job at that. So, but they all 4 can score, and we just asked them to do different things. But I'm very happy right now with what they're doing. You know, the one game that I think it might have been the Old Dominion game, I'm not for sure, where we really got out rebounded.
Yep.
And we did a very poor job going to the boards, and you know, ended up losing the game probably because of that, and not because of them, but because we didn't go to the boards. We just didn't do a good job, and they threw a shot in to beat us. But overall, you know, I've been real pleased with what I've seen. Great attitudes, good work ethic, and getting better every day. And that's, you know, when you got a basketball team and you can walk in the gym and say that we're improving every day, that's big.
You're talking about improvement. Ty Petty, she had 16 points that game. She went on to have 11 at Rice. She's averaging 16 points per game in conference play. Just, I think it was 8.7 in non-conference. What's changed from when she's gone from non-conference play to conference play?
Well, she's growing up. You know, she's understanding better what we want as far as our system is concerned. We ask her to shoot the ball more, and she's doing that. She's getting more shots up. She's getting making better decisions on her shots. And all that's coming with maturity. I mean, Ty's a junior. We're in halfway point of this year. And so, you know, she's growing up. That's what it is, maturity. And her teammates are learning, getting her the ball in a percentage spot on the floor where she can take her shots. And she's making great decisions. So right now we're real pleased with what's going on with Ty. You know, and I think she's one of the best point guards in the conference.
Now, moving still to your backcourt, Abby Sism, she had 12 points. Looking back at it, she hadn't had double figures since back in the Ole Miss game. How do you get her to continue that type of offense?
Well, we're trying to figure that out right now, Alan. To be honest with you, we got to have Abby Sism scoring more with the basketball. I mean, she was recruited as a scorer. She's a great shooter. She knows the game. She's played it all of her life. She's got tremendous basketball IQ. That's all she's really ever done. I mean, she's been around this game since she's been big enough to walk. And, you know, we've got to get her scoring more. And she can. I mean, look at, just like you said, the Ole Miss game, and you go the other night to the North Texas game. The difference in that game was they couldn't crowd Bria. They had to come out. They had to guard Abby Sism. And when you got to guard Abby Sism, you got Bria Edwards, you got Ty Petty, you got Caroline Warden. You know, it's a pretty formidable backcourt. And, you know, we just got to get her doing more. And that's one of the things we sat down and talked with her about yesterday. You've got to be more offensive minded. Abby really got herself committed to becoming a better defensive player and has done a great job. Got in the weight room this summer. She's stronger. She's got more lateral quickness. She's using her head better on defense. And she's really become a kind of a stopper for us. But now we need her not only to play that role, but we need her to step up on the offensive end also.
You touched on it a little bit with all your backcourt with Sism, with Petty, with Edwards, and then with Caroline as well. Does that kind of help your post inside to kind of unclog the lane and bring everybody out to the three-point line?
Well, when your post, when your backcourt can knock down shots, they can't double on your post. When your post can knock down shots, then they've got to something's got to give. And right now we've got Johnson and Becca that's doing a good job at that. And so, you know, we just again, the more we play, the more we practice, we've got to use every dribble, every pass, every step to become a better basketball team. And that's kind of what we're talking about every day in practice. Let's don't waste one pass. Let's make sure that we know why we're making that pass and making good decisions.
Now let's move to the Rice game. It was a great finish. We were actually able to watch it on Periscope thanks to Tony Sennett. But with that 1-point victory, before we get to Bria's shot, Alex Johnson, 25 points. Looking back at it, she had 0 against UAB, and since then she's been averaging 17 points per game. 2 weeks ago, we talked about her watching game film. Has that, with Alicia Clark and Ebony Rowe, has that been the key for her?
Well, what we did is we put some clips together for her to see how they were able to seal, how they were able to get open. You've got to be thinking. You got to be thinking in the future when you're a post player. You got to be setting people up at all times, and we kind of have been stressing that with her. But really, we're doing a better job getting her the basketball right now, and she knows her role a little better. I thought Saturday. She had 25 points, but she easily could have had 40. There was about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 possessions where she missed 1 or 2 footers, and she was fouled and she was pushed on. But that's part of playing that position. You know, we're not. It's a sport, and you're playing against very, very high-profile athletes that are. You know, they're trying to stop you, and they're trying to score, and so, you know, it's a tough game. It's a tough game. So, you know, once she learns to take the lick and finish and go through, I mean, it's not going to do anything but help her game and help us as a basketball team.
Have you seen that, especially as of late, compared to the beginning of the season? Because watching her clips from these last couple of games, it seems like she's understanding, you know, when a double's coming, she has that feel of which side she's playing on and which side she needs to turn over that shoulder.
Well, I think more than anything, she kind of mirrors Ebony Rowe. Now, she's not a great as rebounder as Ebony Rowe. Her offensive game may be a little bit ahead of Ebony's at that time when Ebony was a freshman. But every night that you send Ebony Rowe out there, you're going to get double-figure points and double-figure rebounds every night. And the same thing holds true with Alicia Clark. Right now, Alex is doing a great job on the offensive end. We've got to get her going to the defensive boards a little harder, a little tougher. And when she starts doing that, I think, you know, that's not going to do anything. And, you know, I know that's going to come, you know, sophomore and junior year, but right now I'm kind of greedy. I want her to fill that role right now if possible. Now,
she did get Freshman of the Week again. And coaches like to tell their posts, if you're going to take it inside and go up strong, if you can't finish, you get fouled, you got to make your free throws. She went 13 of 16 from the line. Is that nice that she can score the basket, but if she gets fouled, she's going to make her free throws?
Well, Allen, they've been working on that. All the post players. Tom Hodges and Shalon have stayed after with our post players. We got a lot accomplished over the holidays. And I think more than anything, that's helped with our free throw shooting is the time that we spent on that, the emphasis we placed on that. And so, you know, down the stretch, the type of games we're going to be in the rest of the year, it's going to come down to rebounding and knocking down free throws and how good you are on the defensive end. I think we're going to score, but how can we defend? Can we go rebound with some of these teams that are more athletic than us? And then can we knock down our free throws? If we do that, we're going to end up very successful.
Now, I said we'd get to a Bria's shot. She had 20 points, none bigger than those 3 points at the end. Can you talk about that play? Was that kind of the plan all along? Because you kind of did you passed it to the high post. It looked like there could have been an option for a handoff, or was it Bria Edwards for 3 the whole way?
No, we called. We knew what we wanted to do. We knew all we needed was 2 points to tie the ball game up. But you know, at that point, Bria had some rhythm, and so. You know, basically, my big thing during the huddle was Becca Reuter. I thought the most important part was the person that caught the basketball and was going to make the decision. And right off the bat, I said, Becca, we put her in because I knew I could depend on her to do the right thing, and she knew what was going to happen. And if they backed off, we had Becca shooting a jump shot also. But you know, Ty made a perfect pass to Becca. Becca faked the ball to Ty. Ty picked. Alex Johnson come across the middle, which drew 2 people. And Alex, with her 2 people, was able to pick also. And then Bria was able to read it, come off wide open. And Bria knew that if they crowded her to take the ball to the basket, she's one of our best players going with that little scoop shot to the basket, drawing a foul, and maybe getting a three-point play that way, but at least getting a foul. So she knew she knew exactly what she was doing, and we work on that kind of stuff every day.
You talked about Abby Sism getting better on defense over the summer. Talk about Ty Petty this year. She's had 16 steals in these last 4 games. In the first 14 games, she's only had 11 steals. Can you talk about her defensive transition so far this year?
Let's talk about how she got there, the process. The process was when we lost our last game last year against Temple, within 2 days you had Ty Petty, you had Bria back in the gym. You had Gabby Lyons back in the gym. You had Abby Sism back in the gym. Now look at how those 4 are playing right now. And they worked all the way through, and then they didn't take off in May. You know, they stayed. They worked through May, and then they were there in June. So if you look at how they matured as far as their bodies, and they've got stronger, and they got mentally stronger. And, you know, we think more than anything that's where we're at right now is because of the attitude that those young ladies had about staying here on campus, getting committed to the weight room, getting committed to get stronger, and getting with Matt Riley, our strength coach. And right now, I think that's paying off.
Now, talk about the games coming up. You have Marshall Thursday, WKU on Saturday. Marshall on Thursday, they're coming off an 18-point win against Old Dominion at home. What can you expect to see on both sides from them?
Well, they beat Old Dominion 18, which Old Dominion beat us right here. That should say enough to our fan base there. But they also really beat Rice. And, you know, Rice, we had to knock down a last-second shot to beat Rice. So that gives you an idea. Marshall's not a pushover. Matt Daniel's doing a great job. His kids are in that belief mode, and they're fighting also for one of those top 4 slots in Conference USA. So they'll come in prepared, and it's going to be a great game.
Now, we were talking about the WKU game before. Is this going to be a big game? Because not only is it a rivalry, if they win on Thursday, they'll be 8-0 in the conference on Saturday. Do you get up a little more for this rivalry
I'm
game?
not even thinking about Western Kentucky, Allen. I don't mean to bypass your question. Right now, the one thing on our mind is Marshall. The type basketball team we got, we can't look ahead. Not in this conference, and nobody else can. If Western Kentucky's looking ahead at us, they'll get beat. UAB hadn't been beat at home this year, and that's where they go before they come to us. So, you know, I'm sure Michelle's got her mind on UAB. We've got our mind on Marshall.
Having your mind on Marshall, then what are your keys for on the offensive end and on the defensive end?
Well, Leah Scott's one of their best players. I mean, she's a first-team all-conference player, you know, long, great basketball player, and they've got some great shooters. I mean, they're knocking down threes. They shoot more threes and knock down more threes than we do. So that should tell you that, you know, and they're very athletic, changing defenses. I mean, it's be one of those games where we're going to have to make great decisions, and you know, I'm excited about it. I'll tell you, I want to get back in the gym. I want to get to Thursday night right now because I enjoy watching our team play right now. I enjoy coaching this bunch. They're executing. They're doing exactly what we ask them to do, and you know, when you do that as a coach and a coaching staff, we're excited.
Last question. Can you talk about having these 2 big games being in front of your home crowd?
Oh, our home crowd, I mean, we got the best fans in the Conference USA. We're ranked in the top 15 in the country in attendance. What does that tell you? I mean, it means something right here at Middle Tennessee. Lady Raider basketball means something to our fans. Last night at Sam's for our coaches show, the house was packed. You know, they love our team. They're part of our team, and you know, we enjoy coming out and playing before our home crowd.
All right, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time, and good luck on a big weekend.
Thank you, Allen. Go Blue.
Up next, we will have Coach Davis on the show. They're riding a 6-game conference winning streak. We'll talk about their recent victories over North Texas and Rice, and also preview Marshall and Western Kentucky. All that after the break.
A degree is more than a piece of paper. Your college experience should be exciting, engaging. You should feel proud of your university. With over 140 majors taught by a highly respected and caring faculty and hands-on classes and state-of-the-art facilities, MTSU provides you the training and expertise you need to excel. Middle Tennessee State University is devoted to your success. Discover the MTSU difference. Become True Blue. At Middle Tennessee State University, graduate in 4 and you'll get more. We'll add $500 to your Hope Lottery scholarship after each of your first 2 years. We'll guarantee scholarships to transfer students with a 3.0 GPA or better. And our Finish Line scholarship will give you back any tuition increases. We'll help you graduate in 4 years. We're investing in your success. It's the MTSU Student Success Advantage. Learn more at mtsu.edu/apply.
I am True Blue.
As a member
of this diverse community,
I am a valuable contributor
to its progress and success.
I am engaged in the life of this community.
I am a recipient
and a giver.
I am a listener
and a speaker.
I am honest in word and deed.
I am committed to reason, not violence.
I am a learner.
Now and forever.
I am a Blue Raider.
I am a Blue Raider.
I'm a Blue Raider.
True Blue.
Welcome back to Inside the Paint. I'm joined now by head coach Kermit Davis. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing great.
Doing good?
To be with you.
Good. Before we get into your last couple games and preview the other games, against North Texas before the game, you got honored for your 400th career win. Can you tell me what that means to you?
Well, it means a lot because the majority of the wins happened here at Middle Tennessee. So you reflect on, great 14 years here and great administration, some outstanding coaches and players that have been here and are now still here that's helped us. And but the most important thing, it was a really good road win at Old Dominion.
Now let's move to North Texas. You guys were only up 2 at half. You guys ended up outscoring them in the second half, 52-32. I want to ask you. You guys were 21-8 of points off turnovers, 46-26 in points in the paint, and then 15-7 on offensive rebounds. Were those kind of the 3 keys for you?
Well, I think any time that you can get over 50 and a half, that means you've shared the ball, and obviously we guarded well. I thought we got some baskets in transition based on our defense, and then the points off turnovers, that's such a critical stat in every sport, no matter any team sport that you play. So, and our guys were good in transition, and I was really proud of them.
So was that your main concern, was coming out at halftime, kind of sharing the ball more? You kind of touched on it in your post-game press conference that you really didn't feel that was the way it was going in the first half. Do you think that was the key to the second half? It
was. I didn't think our team came out with very good juice and energy to start that game. I thought we had some good play off the bench that helped us. And but the second half, more of a team effort. We got back to more of our identity. Now,
Perrin Buford, he had his first career double-double with Middle Tennessee. Can you talk about his game, especially going to the to the glass in general?
Well, in any college basketball game, whether you're a point guard or a big guy, if you rebound the ball, you're going to play well, and you'll score more. You're going to have more energy, and I thought Perrin rebounded the ball at a high level. He had a great weekend. All right, let's move to Rice. Rice, you guys won 87-73. You guys were down 16-14, and then you guys had an Upshaw jumper. You guys went on a 17-0 run right after that, 31-9 run to finish the first half. How big is that to be able to go on runs like that? Because not only did you guys go on a big run like that, you guys went on some 7-0 runs in the second half. Can you talk about how college basketball really is playing defense but also being able to go on runs as well? Well, you got to have balanced scoring to do that, and I think we've got 5 or 6, 7 different guys that can go get baskets. And usually when you can sustain runs, it can't be one guy. You've got to have multiple scorers, and I think that's the case, and it was the case against Rice. Now, against Rice, and also just in general for the season, how nice is it to have so many offensive weapons that you can have? Darnell could be his night, it can be Giddy's night, it can be Reggie's. You can go up and down the bench as well because you basically play all your guys. Well, we'll play 11 and 12 guys a game. At Old Dominion, it was Ed Simpson that gave us a score. Quay Copeland gave us a nice lift offensively, obviously the main guys that you've talked about. And I think even guys like Adonis Foote, those guys are starting to get more comfortable. Now, it's hard to go a show without talking about Giddy Potts. He had 27 points. It's his 4th 20-plus point game this season. How does he do it? Because if you think about it, every defense likes to key on him. If you're at the game, anytime he catches the ball, you hear coaches yelling, shooter, 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 but yet he can still put up great numbers offensively. I think Giddy will tell you, obviously, he's got so much more room to improve, but he's rebounding the ball better. He's starting to drive the ball better. He just understands how to get his shots. But for a guy like that to continue to score, the balance around him needs to be good. And I thought the other night we got some mismatches, and he took advantage of them. Now, before we get to Perrin, who had another great night again, can you talk about his dunk? You kind of talked about it in the post-game press conference, how athletic it was. Is that possibly one of the best dunks you've seen as a coach? It was one of the best ones here because it was in traffic. You know, there's a lot of times that, you know, and you see it there that you get dunks when it's kind of 1-on-0. But he went after a guy that really made a hard play on the ball and got fouled. Great assist from Reggie Upshaw.
And you talk about the big guy. It seems like Perrin is really relentless when it goes. It doesn't matter if he's going up against point guard or you saw there a big guy in Drone.
Well, he's a tough mismatch, you know, because he can play the 4, even sometimes even played the 5. He can play the 3, and we try to get him in the paint and post up threes, and he's pretty quick and athletic. One thing Perrin has, he's got a really good mid-range game.
Now, Perrin, that game, he had 23 and 8, almost another double-double. It was at the beginning of the year we talked about Perrin. You said he really hasn't been buying in the offense. It was when he was coming off the bench we talked about it. Has he finally bought into the offensive system?
Yeah, and that was when Perrin was his first year here, you know, and he was learning and trying to grasp everything and really trust coaches and trust teammates. And at the end of last year, he really made a great stride. He's been a really good leader all through the spring and the summer and the fall. And it's good to see him play well because he deserves to play well because based on all the hard work he's put in.
Now, I touched on it before we went to the break to bring you on. 6 straight conference wins, 2 of them on the road. How have you guys been able to do it?
It's just I think we've become a lot better, more mature practice team. I think we've got more of our new guys that understand the importance of game day practices, putting scouts into the game. You know, college basketball and even college football, you got to be able this time of the year to be physical without contact. Because you can't just beat guys, especially been on foreign tours and you've been here June and July. So it's got to be in a mature way of how can you get better without having to grind your team every day. And our team is starting to understand that, and we're just becoming a mature team. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, and I still think we got a lot of room for improvement. Now,
Thursday, you guys have Marshall at 6. Saturday, up at WKU on 7 on FCS. You talk about it, you really emphasize it, the +1 on the road, the -1 at home. How are you guys going to be able to get, hopefully, +2 over the weekend?
Well, you know, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be it's a fun week if you're a coach or player and you love basketball, if you like competition. Marshall's playing extremely well. We know exactly what kind of environment. They got a great fan base. I think they're going to have a heck of a weekend. Look forward to having us in UAB there. Now they're back in a conference race once again. It's been a few years since that happened. Then you go right to Western Kentucky, your arch rival, on Saturday. We know what kind of fan base that they're going to have for a rivalry game. So if you enjoy competition, enjoy good atmospheres, and you're right in the middle of league races, couldn't be more fun for us.
Now specifically on the court for Marshall, what can you expect to see from them on the offensive side and then also on the defensive side?
Well, right now they're playing like maybe the best offensive team in college basketball. I mean, they're averaging over 90 points a game in league play, and that's really hard to do. There's only been one time that they've scored less than 90 in a league game. So they're just high scoring. They've got a guy, James Kelly, that's 6'8", about 270, that makes threes. And, you know, their bigs play like our bigs. They're out on the floor, they move around, they score at all spots. They shoot a high percentage, so you got to get back in transition defense, and you know, you got your hands full. They scored a lot of different ways.
Are you looking back for this Marshall game? You talk about how great offensively they are. Are you looking back to the way you guys defended Belmont? Because we had basically the same conversation with Belmont, being able to put up those type of offensive numbers.
We're going to have that kind of effort, you know, because in this team, they're and Belmont's terrific, but this team's probably a little more physical. I mean, you know, you got a guy like Kelly who's a 4-man who's 270, Taylor's 265, and they move. So, but it does. They got a lot of similarities in the perimeters. Guy that can shoot and make plays off the dribble, and we'll have to have that kind of sustained effort.
Move to Saturday. Just one question for Saturday. I know you don't want to look past Marshall. What can you expect, because it is a rivalry game? 2 questions. Do you kind of get up more for this rivalry game, and then also what can you expect for them as well?
Well, I'm a coach, and I've said it. You know, I said it on my radio show last night that I grew up in a rivalry all my life. I mean, I grew up in Mississippi State. My dad played there. I played there. I coached there. My dad coached there. So we've grown up in that Mississippi State Ole Miss, where rivalries mean something. And when I got here, I wanted to put more emphasis on the Western Kentucky game. We hadn't had a lot of success against Western until 14 years ago. You know, and so it's a big game for us. Does it count the same in league? It sure does. There's no difference. But is it more important to our fans? It sure is. And it has a little more meaning for us. And for our new players who hadn't been in the rivalry yet, they'll get a glimpse of it when they go to Diddle Arena on Saturday.
Now, some of them who haven't been in that rivalry, are you leaning towards your veterans to kind of lead the way, especially come Saturday against Western?
Well, I think so. We've even had some guys on our team. A lot of our guys hadn't been there, because when we went to Conference USA, we didn't play. I don't think Reggie Upshaw's been there. He hadn't, because we didn't play as a freshman. We didn't play each other. Then as a sophomore, remember the Conference USA, we didn't play home and home for some reason. So it's going to be the first time for him to play there. So we hadn't had, I don't know if we had a guy on our team that's played there before. So it'll be new. They maybe have seen the rivalry, but not at Diddle Arena.
Now, last question. Going to Marshall and then also going to WKU. UAB also has to go to Marshall and WKU this weekend. What would it mean to you if being able to come away with those 2 wins and having the possibility of driving home from Kentucky on Saturday at the top of Conference USA standings?
Well, I think it'd be a great feeling. Obviously, we did that, but there's a lot of different things that could happen, and it can change in a weekend. You can see there's like a log jam at with 4 or 5 teams, and all of a sudden, it can just flip-flop, and that's the beauty about league races. So obviously, we'll just focus right on Marshall, and road wins on this trip are going to be difficult to come by.
All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate your time, and good luck at Marshall and then also at Western Kentucky.
All right, appreciate it.
That'll do it for this week's edition of Inside the Paint. Be sure to join us next week with all your news in Blue Raider basketball.